Greetings, welcome to Self-Assessment 1, Problem 2. The graph of f of x is given below. Use inequality notation to give the following. First thing they want from us is what is the domain of f of x? Well, remember the domain refers to the x values that are possible for our function. So the easiest way to do that will be to transfer the endpoints up onto the x-axis because we're talking about x values here. So we see that our left endpoint is a closed dot and that our right endpoint is an open dot, and that the values of x are going to be everything between those two. You can think about it that at any point that I was on the graph here, I can draw a vertical line down to the x-axis corresponding to those values of x. So what that tells us is that the x values are trapped between -15 and +15. In inequality notation, that would say that -15 is less than or equal to x, which is strictly less than a +15. Okay, now they want us to give the corresponding range of f of x. Well, remember that f of x, we're talking about the y values. So the smallest possible y value we see here is -200. And again, I'll transfer that endpoint over onto the y-axis. And then our largest value that y can take on is 400. And so what that says is that it's going to be all of the y values ranging from -200 to 400. 200 being included, 400 not being. So -200 is less than or equal to y, which is strictly less than 400. Now they ask us for the range of f of x, so we could also have written this as -200 is less than or equal to f of x, which is strictly less than 400. Okay, the next thing they want to know from us is what f of 0 is. Well, what they're saying here is that the x value is equal to 0, and they want to know what is the corresponding y value equal to. So when x is equal to 0, what does that mean? Well, that means that we must be on the y-axis. So what we're really looking for is our vertical intercept or our y-intercept. So in other words, we want to know what is that ordered pair right there. So keeping track of our units, of course, it looks like that ordered pair is at 0. That's our x value that was given. And the corresponding y value looks like it's 100. So f of 0 would be equal to 100. Okay, now in part D, what they've done is they've given us that the y value is equal to 0, and they want to know what is the corresponding x value. So if the y value is equal to 0, that must mean that we're on the x-axis. So that corresponds to this point right here, which looking like we're at -5 on the x-axis. So that point would be at -5, 0, or the corresponding x value would be equal to -5.